Hello everyone, welcome to ResearchHUB. This is Ziaul Munim, professor at University of Southeastern Norway, and this work was done together with Sarah Mari. And in this work, we basically wanted to explore which shipping segments are most suitable for autonomous ships. This work was presented at the IEEM conference in 2024 in Bangkok, so Industrial Engineering and Engineering Management Conference by IEEE. And this work was also financed by two funding agencies, one from the Korea Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries and another from the Norwegian Research Council. You can cite this work like this. The paper is not publicly available yet. It will be available within a month or so, something like that. But you can already start citing the findings of this study like this. Okay. As soon as the paper is online, I will put the link of the paper below the video. So why autonomous ships? There has been lots of developments in autonomous ships. There has been some works going on related to autonomous vehicles and cars for quite many years now. But since 2010, 2011, there has been quite some work on the autonomous shipping segment as well. One of the main reason is to reduce costs. Okay, so here I took this cost breakdown for shipping. So we have operating cost, periodic maintenance, voyage cost, cargo handling, capital cost. So normally the voyage cost and the capital cost are two major costs. But after that, we have the operating cost. And about 42% or 40% of the operating cost goes to manning cost for the crew and so on. So if we reduce the crew, we actually will be able to uh, reduce the cost here for manning cost. But at the same time, autonomous ships have also other benefits, like, it could reduce also some part of the capital cost, but at the same time, it might increase some other part of the capital cost. For example, we might not need hoteling services, and for people to live in the ships, we might not need a lot of services and rooms and so on. So we might reduce some cost from the design perspective there, but at the same time, we will need some advanced technologies, redundant technologies and so on. So that will also increase some of the cost. But in general, the main idea is that we could reduce some cost here in the manning cost. Then also another main idea for autonomous ships is that it will increase safety. Here I have these statistics. This is from the Japan Coastal Administration. So here we actually can see that over the years, the number of accidents has been reducing. Of course, the 2022, when I took these numbers, was not complete, but in general, there is a decreasing trend in the number of accidents. Okay, so it's decreasing over time from 2010 to 2021. So in general, we could actually say that over time, technologies are becoming more advanced and it is contributing to increasing safety. Another issue is lack of seafarers. In most of the European countries and developed countries, young people nowadays are not very willing to go to sea for longer periods of time without connections with their friends and families. So there is some lack of seafarers in the developed nations. Although in the world, there are more than 1 million, 1.5 million seafarers at the moment, and majority of them comes from developing and emerging countries. But the technological development is happening more in the developed countries. So there is some debate about it. But in general, in the developed countries, there is lack of seafarers, and that's leading the further development of autonomous shipping. So I have been to a lot of conferences and a lot of debates about autonomous shippings, and I have seen some people getting really, emotional about it and saying that autonomous ships are not feasible, it's not going to happen, and so on. So in this paper, what we try to do is actually we try to kind of put a boundary, like, so for which shipping segment are we talking about? So that's something we have to think about. Like when we talk about autonomous ships, for which shipping segment? There are several shipping segments. Not all of them are equally feasible, right? And also like which size and which degree of autonomy. So all these things matter. But in this paper, we are not going to talk about the size and the degrees of autonomy. Here, we are going to focus only on the shipping segment. Okay. So the research questions that we are trying to address in this paper is that which shipping segments are most suitable for autonomous ships, considering up to 5 years, 5 to 10 years, 11 to 20 years, and more than 20 years outlook. Okay, so basically the segment that is likely to be adopted in the 5 to 10 years is the ones that we will see in the very near future, right? And also, when we were collecting data, we had respondents from academics and industry, so we could compare if the perceptions vary between academic and industry. We also had more or less equal respondents from Norway and outside Norway, so we could compare that as well. So we did that too. Here, a little bit about our data collection and survey. This is how the survey looks like. It's a very simple survey. It's actually part of a larger survey, but this part we used only for this conference paper. So it's a simple survey. As you can see, we asked for current position, current profession, years of experience, and here you can see the question we asked, like, when do we expect the following shipping segments to adopt mass commercially? So these are the shipping segments we have listed here. And here people could pick only one of them, like within the next 5 years, 5 to 10 years, 11 to 20 years, or more than 20 years. And this is how our sample looks like. So data was collected from January to March 2024. We had in total 37 respondents after removing some of the straight lining or like some of the missing information ones. And then we have 20 academics, 17 industry, 19 from Norway, and rest from other countries. For analysis, we basically relied on descriptive statistics and frequency distribution. We also did chi-square test, and we also did box plots. The box plots are made in Python, but the other analyses, they were done in SPSS, and then we extracted the information and made nice figures using Excel. So here, the first finding, the overall perspective on the outlook of autonomous shipping. So here, this is sorted based on the within 5-year frequency distribution. So here you can see the regional passenger ferry. That's where we had the highest number of respondents. Okay, 16 respondents say that actually we are likely to see autonomous ships in the regional passenger ferry within the 5 years. And then offshore wind farms and ro-ro shipping and container shipping and so on. We see that cruise shipping, tanker shipping, dry bulk shipping are receiving very few like ratings there. If we look at cumulative 5 to 10 years, then we see that the most is still the regional passenger ferry, but the second one becomes the container shipping, and the third one seems to be offshore wind farm, and then fourth dry bulk shipping, and then the ro-ro shipping. Okay, so considering this cumulative within 5 years and 5 to 10 years gives a slightly different view here. Now we might want to explore this perception outlook for the academic and the industry samples separately. So for academic perspective, we see that actually academics are a bit more pessimistic here. You see the frequencies here within the 5 years are very low, and the maximum we got is for regional passenger ferry. When we again look into the cumulative 5 to 10 and within 5 years, then we see the highest comes here on the regional passenger ferry, followed by the container shipping, and then we have the ro-ro shipping and offshore wind farm, followed by the dry bulk shipping. Okay. So now let's have a look in the industry. Here we see there are more people who are optimistic within the next 5 years outlook. We see the top one is the regional passenger ferry, followed by offshore wind farm, followed by offshore oil and gas, and then container shipping and the others. And when we look into the cumulative perspective again for the up to 10 years, we see the topmost frequency that we got are for regional passenger ferry and offshore wind farm, and then followed by the offshore oil and gas and the container shipping, and then we have the dry bulk shipping. So now we were like, okay, do this perception differ, you know? So we then thought, okay, so for each of the shipping segment, we had 4 response groups, like within 5 years, 5 to 10 years, 11 to 20 years, and 20 years or more, right? So we could actually consider them as, we could consider them as like categorical variables. Instead of considering them as like numeric or orders, we could consider them as categorical variables. We could actually consider them also as numeric and then, or like ordinal. We could consider them as ordinal and then do a ANOVA, but we decided to treat them as a categorical variable, and then our dummy variable, whether academic or not, and then Norway or not, is 0 and 1, so it's also a categorical variable. So when both of the variables are categorical in nature, normally we do a chi-square test. So then we did a chi-square test. I believe if we do a ANOVA, we will get very similar results. Okay. So in this chi-square test, then we saw that only in two cases for academic versus industry, we got a p-value less than 0.05. And for Norway and other countries comparison, we didn't get any p-values less than 0.05, but we got one which is less than 0.10. So at 10% of statistical significance, we can consider this significance difference. But then, so we wanted to see, okay, so since there are some differences, how do they really look like? So this is going against a little bit how we did this, like, so we treated the outlook, four categories of outlook as categories instead of ordinal. But then we are also kind of representing mean here. So this is not maybe the best way of doing it, but we could solve this by reporting only ANOVA, or we could solve this by not presenting mean, but maybe the median, something like that. But anyway, so since we have done it, it's not a major error, so it should be okay. So here you see the offshore oil and gas. Here we have a significance difference, and offshore wind farm, here we have a significance difference. So in these two cases, you will see the mean is indicated by this light, the white highlight point. Okay. So for offshore oil and gas, we see 0 is higher. So 0 is actually academic. And in this case, higher means actually that it's pessimistic. It's negative because we have four categories, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 means 20 years or more, and 1 means within 5 years. So higher means it's negative. Okay. So basically here we see the academics are actually more negative uh, compared to the industry when it comes to offshore oil and gas. Same for the offshore wind farm. Academics are more negative or pessimistic compared to the industry people. And then when we compare Norway and others, we had only one difference, and that was for tanker. Okay. So here 0 indicate other country and 1 indicate Norway. So for Norway, actually, we had a score of 4 here. So everyone from Norway gave a 4 for tanker. So that means that they said it will come after 20 years. And then from other countries, the mean was here about 3 point something. So here, one of the reason we use the chi-square test is because the sample size is quite low. So instead of ANOVA, maybe we could have used the Mann-Whitney test, but that's something we can try, and I believe the results will be the same. But here you get the main story here that, the main message here is that not all of the shipping segments are more feasible within the near future for autonomous shipping. Okay, especially the tanker and cruise shipping, these are very little feasible, and which we actually also observe, like the ones which we found like most feasible are kind of observed in the industry or in practice as well. So here we see a hike ferry, it's a regional passenger ferry. Actually, this picture is taken by me. I was on board in this vessel when I took this picture. Then there is a Reach Remote. It's a offshore support vessel. It's also developed in Norway. Then we have the ASCO ferry. Here it's me actually on the ferry. This is also functioning in a level 2 or level 3 of autonomous. We can say level 2 because we still have 2 or 3 people on board most of the time when it's sailing. And here I am in the remote control center in Horten, from where the ASCO ferries and also the Yara Birkeland is managed. So we see that actually these things are happening, and we see autonomous ships are coming, and more the degree of autonomy is increasing, and we might see actually full potential of autonomous ships in the next 10 years or so. So thank you for listening to me. You can connect with me on LinkedIn by scanning this QR code. You can cite this work as mentioned here. So the online version will come maybe within a month or something like that. As soon as the link is available, I will post the link of the paper below the link, but you can already start citing it uh, as mentioned here. So thank you for listening. I hope you find it interesting. Good luck.